will pass. For today a pilot apprentice rises from indentures fleet. Strong his arm and keen his scent is he's a pilot now indeed. He is without reflections, ventures, credits out of his indentures. 22 now he's rising, and alone he's fit to fly, which we're bent on signalizing with unusual effort. His goodbye to ventures, credits out of his indentures. Pull a pilot ship, fill a pilot mouth, and to make us more than merry, let the mighty one pass. From today, you rank as a full-blown member of our band.
Friends, I thank you all from my heart for your kindly wishes. Would that I could repay them as they deserve.
What do you mean?
Today I am out of my indentures, and today I leave you forever.
Well, this is quite unaccountable. A keener hand at scuttling a Canada, or cutting out a white star and a skip to handspike.
Yes, I have done my best for you. And why? It was my duty under my indentures, and I am a slave of duty. As a child, I was regularly apprenticed to your bands. It was through an error. No matter, the mistake was ours, not yours, and I was in honor bound by it.
An error? What error?
I may not tell you. It would reflect upon my well-loved Ruth.
Nay, dear master, my mind has long been gnawed by the canker and tooth of mystery. Better have it out at once. When Frederick was a little lad, he proved so brave and daring. His father thought he'd apprentice him to some courteous seafaring. I was, alas, his nursery maid, and so it fell to my lot to take and buy this promising boy apprentice to a pilot. I've not found a hardy lad, though surely not a high lot. Oh, I'm a nurse, you might do worse than make your boy a pilot. I was a stupid nursery maid, on breakers always keeping, and I did not catch the word aright through being hard of hearing, mistaking my instructions, which within my brain did gyrate. I took and found this promising boy apprentice to a pirate. A sad mistake it was to make and doom him to a pilot. I found him to a pirate crew instead of to a pilot. I soon found out beyond no doubt the scope of this disaster, but I hadn't the face to return to my place and break it to my master. A nursery maid is not afraid of what you people call work, so I made up my mind to go as a kind of pragmatical maid of all work. And that is how you find me now, a member of your shy lot, which you wouldn't have found if he'd been bound apprentice to a pilot.
Pardon, right, sweet one, I have long pardoned you.
The two wives are so much alike.
They were. They still are. Their years are older than their heads. But this afternoon my obligation ceases. Individually, I love you all with affection unspeakable. but collectively, I look upon you with a disgust that amounts to absolute detestation. Oh, pity me, my beloved friends, for such is my sense of duty that, once out of my indentures, I shall find myself bound to devote myself heart and soul to your extermination.
Well, Frederick, if you conscientiously feel it is your duty to destroy us, we cannot blame you for acting on that conviction. Always act in accordance with the dictates of your conscience, my boy, and chance the consequences.
Besides, we can offer you little temptation to remain with us. We can't seem to make piracy pay. I don't know why, but we can.
I know why. But, alas, I mustn't tell you, it wouldn't be right.
Why not, my boy? It is only 11:30, and you are one of us until the clock strikes 12.
Aye, true. And until then, you are bound to protect our interests.
Well, then, it is my duty as a pirate to tell you that you are too tender-hearted. For instance, you make a point of never attacking a weaker party than yourselves, and when you attack a stronger party, you invariably get thrashed.
There is some truth in that.
But then again, you make a point of never molesting an orphan.
Oh, of course, we are orphans ourselves and know what it is.
Yes, but it is gone about, and what is the consequence? Everyone we capture says he's an orphan. The last 3 ships we took were manned entirely by orphans, and so we had to let them go. One would think that Great Britain's mercantile navy was recruited solely from her orphan cycle, which we know is not the case.
But, hang it all, you wouldn't have us absolutely merciless.
There's my difficulty. Until 12 o'clock I would. After 12 I wouldn't. Was ever a man placed in so delicate a situation?
And Ruth, your own Ruth, whom we love so well, who's won her middle-aged way to your boyish heart. What is to become of her?
Well, Ruth, I feel some little difficulty about you. It is true that I admire you very much, but I have been constantly at sea since I was 8 years old, and yours is the only woman's face I've seen during that time. I think it is a sweet face.
Oh, it is.
I say I think it is, but having never had an opportunity to compare you with other women, it is just possible I may be mistaken.
True.
If I were to marry this innocent person and find out that she is, on the whole, rather plain.
Oh, Ruth is very well. Very well indeed.
Yes, there are the remains of a fine woman about this.
Do you really think so?
I do.
Then I will not be so selfish as to take her from you. In justice to her and in consideration for you, I shall leave her behind.
No, Frederick! This mustn't be. We are rough men who lead a rough life, but we are not so utterly heartless as to deprive thee of thy love. I think I am right in saying that there is no one here that would rob thee of this inestimable treasure, for all the world holds dear.
Not one!
That's right, I thought there wasn't. Keep thy love, Frederick, keep thy love.
You're very good, I'm sure.
Well, this is the top of the tide and we must be on. Farewell, Frederick. When your process of extermination begins, let our deaths be as swift and painless as you can conveniently make them.
I will. By the love I have for you, I swear. Would that you could render this extermination pointless by accompanying me back to civilization.
No, Frederick, it cannot be. I don't think much of our profession, but contrasted with respectability, is comparatively honest. No, Frederick, I shall live and die a pirate king. Oh, better far to live and die under the brave black flag I fly, than play a sanctimonious part with a pilot hand and a pirate heart. Away to the cheating world go you, where pirates all are well to do. But I'll be true to the song I sing, and leave and do your pirate king, for I am a pirate king. And it is a glorious thing to be a pirate king. I am a pirate king. I'm a pirate king. And it is a glorious thing to be a pirate king. It is a pirate king. But I'm the pirate king. When I sally forth to seek my prey, I help myself in a royal way. I think a few more ships is true, and a well-bred monarch ought to do. But many a king on a first-class throne, if he wants to call his crown his own, must manage somehow to see through more dirty work than I do. For I am a pirate king, and it is a glorious thing to be a pirate king. Oh, I am a pirate king. I'm a pirate king. It is a glorious thing to be a pirate king. It is to love a pirate king, but of a pirate king.
Take me with you. I cannot live if I'm left behind.
Ruth, I will be quite candid with you. You are very dear to me, as you know, but I must be circumspect. You see, you are considerably older than I. A lad of 21 usually looks for a wife of 17.
Oh, wife, 17. You will find me a wife of 1,000.
No, but I shall find you a wife of 47, and that is quite enough. Ruth, tell me candidly, and without reserve, compared with other women, how are you?
I will answer you truthfully, dear master. I have a slight cold. Otherwise, I'm quite good.
I'm sorry to hear you're cold, but I was referring rather to your personal appearance. Compared with other women, are you beautiful?
I've been told so, dear master.
But lately?
Years and years ago.
What do you think of yourself?
I think I am fine.
What? That is your candid opinion?
Yes, I should be deceiving you if I told you otherwise.
Thank you, Ruth. I believe you, for I'm sure you will not practice upon my inexperience. I wish to do the right thing, and if, I say if, you really are a fine woman, then your age shall be no obstacle to our union. Hark! Shall I hear voices? Who has ventured to approach our orbit and makes us lair? Could it be the Whiffenpoofs? No, they don't sound that good.
Confusion. It is the voices of young girls. He should see them. I am lost.
By all that's marvelous, a family of beautiful maidens.
Lost.
Oh, how lovely, how surpassingly lovely is the plainest of them. What grace, what refinement, what delicacy. And Ruth told me she was beautiful. A false one, you have deceived me.
I have deceived you.
Yes, deceived me. I do before these gentle maidens? I dare not show in this alarming costume. No, no, I must remain in close concealment until I can appear in decent clothing. bounden duty to inform you that your proceedings shall not be unwitnessed.
Who are you to speak?
I am a pirate.
A pirate!
Ladies, do not shun me. This evening I renounce my vile profession. And to that faithful, pure, and peerless maidens, O blushing buds of ever-blooming beauty, I swore at heart, implore your kind assistance.
How pitiful his tale, how rare his beauty. How pitiful his tale, how rare his beauty.
Oh, is there not one maiden breast which does not feel the moral beauty of making worldly interest subordinate to sense of duty? Who would not give up willingly all matrimonial ambition to rescue such an one as I from his unfortunate position? From his position. To rescue such an one as I from his unfortunate position.
Alas, there's not one maiden breast which seems to feel the moral beauty of making worldly interest subordinate to sense of duty.
Oh, is there not one maiden here whose homely face and bad complexion has caused all hope to disappear of ever gaining man's affection? To such an one, if such there be, I swear by heaven such above, if you will cast your eyes on me, however plain you be, I love you. However plain you be, if you will cast your eyes on me, however plain you be, I love you. these men who stick out to their offences will none be here. Piracy, their dreadful trade is, pray you get you hate young ladies, while the coast is clear.
No, we must not lose our senses. If they stick to no offences, we should not be here. Piracy, the dreadful trade is, nice companions for young ladies, let us disappoint. Too late, too late.
It's a first rate opportunity to get married with impunity and indulge in welfare, felicity of unbounded domesticity. Completely personified, conjugal emotion modified by a doctor of divinity who is open in this vicinity.
We have missed no opportunity of escaping with impunity. So about to the publicity of our maiden domesticity. We should quickly be personified, conjugated action modified by a doctor of divinity who is open in this vicinity. By a doctor of divinity who is open in this vicinity. By a doctor of divinity. Of divinity. Monsters! Caravansary fatigue against Romeo to and soul. Just bear in mind that we are ward in chancery, and the father is a major general.
We bear laws, or danger may be. Their father is a major general.
Yes, yes, he is a major general.
Yes, yes, I am a major general. He is a major general. It is a glorious thing to be a major general.
It is a proud of the major general, of the major general.
I am the very model of a modern major general. I have information, vegetable, animal, and mineral. I know the kings of England and I quote the facts historical from Marathon to Waterloo and order categorical. I am very well acquainted too with matters mathematical. I understand equations both the simple and quadratical. About my name you'll feel and I am teeming with a lot of news. Oh, a lot of news. A lot of news. A lot of news. Ah! And whistle on! That's the hypotenuse! I am very good at integral and differential calculus. I know the scientific names of beings and about units, but still it's not as vegetable, animal, and mineral. I am the very model of a modern major general.
Still a man is vegetable, animal, and mineral. He is the very model of a modern major general.
I know our mythic history, King Arthur's and Sir Caradox. I answer hard agnostics, I have pretty taste for paradox. I quote an elegiac all the crimes of Heliogabalus. In Cornix I can plot peculiarities, parabolas. I can tell undoubted Raphaels from Galadons and Sophones. I know the creaking chorus of the frogs from Aristophanes, and I can hum a fugue with which I've heard the music's dinner for. Oh, dinner for. Dinner for, dinner for, complete. Ah! And whistle all the airs from that infernal nonsense. Dinner for!
Whistle all the airs from that infernal nonsense. Pitiful. And whistle all the airs from that infernal nonsense. Pitiful. And whistle all the airs from that infernal nonsense. Pitiful.
Then I can write a washing bill in Babylonic uniform and tell you every detail of Caractacus's uniform and say that matters vegetable, animal, and mineral. I am the very model of a modern major general.
Still a man is vegetable, animal, and mineral. He is the very model of a modern major general.
In fact, when I know what is meant by mammalian and ramelin, when I can tell its sight, a mouse's rifle from a javelin. When such affairs as sorties and surprises I'm aware yet, and when I know precisely what is meant by commissariat. When I have learned what progress has been made in modern gunnery, when I know more of tactics than a novice in a nunnery, in short, when I'm a smattering of elemental strategy. Oh, strategy. No! Say a better Major General, because there were strategies. Say a better Major General, because there were strategies. Say a better Major General, because there were strategies. Say a better Major General, because there were strategies. For my military knowledge, though I'm plucky and adventurous, has only been brought down to the beginning of the century. But still, in matters vegetable, animal, and mineral, I am the very marvel of a modern Major General. But still, in matters vegetable, animal, and mineral, he is the very marvel of a modern Major General. Stop! Children. We propose to marry your daughter. Dear me.
It's so long, Papa. It's so long.
Oh, but you mustn't do that. This is a picturesque uniform, but I am not familiar with it. What are you? We're all single gentlemen. Yes, I gathered that. No, nothing else.
Don't listen to them, Papa. They're pirates. The famous pirates of Penzance.
Ah, pirates of Penzance. I've often heard of them.
All except this gentleman,
Yeah.
who was a pirate once, but who is out of his indentures today. He means to lead a blameless life evermore.
But wait a bit. I object to the idea of pirates as sons-in-law. And we object to Major Generals as fathers-in-law. We waive that point. We do not press it, we look over it. An idea. So do you mean to say that you would deliberately rob me of these, the sole remaining props of my old age, and leave me to go through the remainder of my life, unfriended, unprotected, and alone? Well, yes, that's the idea. Tell me, have you ever known what it is to be an orphan? Oh, bless it all. Here we go again. I asked you, have you ever known what it is to be an orphan? Orphan? Yes, have you ever known what it is to be an orphan? I say orphan. I don't think we quite understand one another. I say orphan, and you say orphan. When you say orphan, as I understand it, you are merely repeating the word orphan to show that you understand me. I never repeated the word orphan. Pardon me, but you did indeed. Only once. Oh, yes, but you repeated it. But not to orphan. So, I think when you say orphan, do you mean a person who has lost both of his parents? Or orphan, frequently? Oh, I beg pardon, I see what you mean. Frequently. You said orphan frequently. No, only once. You said orphan frequently, only once. O men of dark and dismal fate, forego your cruel employ. Have pity on my lonely state, for I am an orphan boy. An orphan boy, an orphan boy. Oh, sad, an orphan boy. These children who you see are all that I can call my own. Poor fellow. Take them away from me and I shall be indeed alone. Poor fellow, if pity you can feel, leave me my soul, remaining joys. See, at your feet they kneel, your hearts they cannot steal, against the sunset tale of the lone. Orphan boy, poor fellow, see at our feet they kneel, our hearts we cannot that doesn't diminish my glory, for they would have taken my daughters over the billowy waters. If I hadn't an elegant diction and indulged in innocent fiction, which is not of the same category as telling a regular terrible story.
It's telling a terrible story, it's not telling a terrible story. It's one of the queen's songs over the billowy waters. It's the elegant diction to cause an innocent fiction. It comes in the same category as telling a regular terrible story. It's the elegant diction to cause an innocent fiction. It comes in the same category as telling a regular story.
Although what occurs sometimes involves the crime of stealing, we rather think that we're not altogether void of feeling. Although we live by strife, we're always sorry to begin it. For what we ask is life without a touch of poetry in it.
Felicity,
I will try, dear Mabel. But tell me, why does he sit night after night in this drafty old ruin?
Why do I sit here? It's to escape from the pirates' clutches. I told them that I was an orphan, and heaven help me, I am no orphan. I have come here to humble myself amongst the tombs of my ancestors, and humbly beg their pardon for having brought dishonor upon the family escutcheon.
But you forget, sir, you only bought the property a year ago, and the stagger on your baronial castle is scarcely dry.
Frederick! In this castle there are ancestors, you cannot deny that. When I bought the estate, I bought the chapel and its contents. I do not know whose ancestors they were. I know whose ancestors they are. And I shudder to think that their descendant by purchase, if I may so describe myself, has brought disgrace upon what I have no doubt was an unstained scutcheon.
Comforted, sir. Had you not acted as you did, these reckless men would have assuredly have brought in the nearest clergymen and buried your large family on the spot.
I thank you for your profit solace, but it is unavailing. Such is the anguish and remorse I feel at having escaped those poor, so easily deluded pirates by my abominable falsehood, that I will go to their simple-minded chief this very night and confess all. Did I not fear that the consequences would be most disastrous for myself? When does your expedition march against these scoundrels?
At 11, and before midnight, I hope to atone for my involuntary association with the pestilent scourges by wiping them from the face of the earth. And then, dear Mabel, we shall be fine.
Is your expedition at hand?
Yes, they are. They only wait my orders.
Then, Frederick, let your escort lie unparted. Be summoned to receive a general's blessing ere they depart upon their dread adventure.
Dear sir, they come.
Story
back to our chance of coming back. Still in fact it would be wise to have proper criticize, for it's very evident these intentions are well meant.
Yes, it's very evident.
These intentions are well meant.
Evident.
Yes, well meant.
Evident.
Ah, yes, well meant. When the fun is and we find the voice
decided that, although for such a beastly month as February, 28 days as a rule are plenty, 1 year in every 4, his days
shall be reckoned as 9 and 20. Through some singular coincidence, I shouldn't be surprised if, owing to the agency of an ill-natured fairy, you are the victim of this clumsy arrangement, having been born in leap year on the 29th of February, and so, by a simple arithmetical process, you'll easily discover that though you've lived 21 years, yet if we go by birthdays, you're only 5 and a little bit over.
Let's see. Yes, with yours my fingers do agree. How quaint the ways of paradox, at common sense she gaily mocks. Though counting in the usual way, years 21 I've been alive. Yet reckoning by my natal day, let's see, divide by 4, carry the 1, calculate the times score coefficients, integrate over all the space. I am a little boy of 5.
He's a little boy of 5. Paradox, a basic genius paradox. A paradox.
You're glad now we found that you spared us. You would have never forgiven yourself when you had discovered that you killed 2 of your comrades.
With my comrades.
I'm afraid you don't appreciate the delicacy of your position. You were apprenticed to us.
Until I reach my 21st year.
No. Until you reach your 21st birthday. I'm going by birthdays, you are as of yet 5 1/4.
You don't mean to say you're going to hold me to that?
No, we merely remind you of the fact and leave the rest to your sense of duty.
Your sense of duty.
Don't put it on that footing, because I was merciful to you just now, be merciful to me. I implore you not to insist upon the letter of your bond, just as the cup of happiness is at my lips.
Oh, we insist on nothing. We content ourselves with reminding you of your duty.
Your duty.
You don't understand it. Well, then, you have appealed to my sense of duty.
Oh.
My duty is only too clear. I abhor your infamous calling. I shudder at the thought I was ever mixed up with it, but duty is before all. At any price, I will do my duty.
Bravely spoken. Come, you are one of us once more.
Lead on, I follow. Oh, horror!
What is the matter?
Ought I to tell you? No, I cannot. And yet,
Speak
I want
out.
hand.
I charge you by the sense of conscientiousness to which we have never yet a cooling thing.
General Stanley, the father of my Mabel,
Yes.
he escaped from you on the plea that he was an orphan.
He did.
It breaks my heart to betray the honored father of the co-writer, but as your apprentice, I have no alternative.
Yes.
It is my duty to tell you
Yeah.
that
Yes.
General Stanley is no orphan.
from our credulous simplicity? Oh! Our revenge shall be swift and terrible! We will go collect our band and attack Tamon Castle this very night.
But stay!
Not a word, he is doomed. Away, away, my heart's on fire. I burn this base deception till it pay. This very night, my vengeance fire shall lock itself and go away, away.
Away, away, when I expire, I find my duty ought to do today. My heart is filled with anguish dire, it strikes me to the core, away, away.
Also foul who slipped us of our pride, then went to town, the pirate so decides. Our nature sternly softened with his lies, and in return tonight the traitor dies.
Yes, yes, tonight the traitor dies.
Yes, yes, tonight the traitor dies.
Tonight and now.
Yes, already tomorrow.
These girls likewise,
They will rest with sorrow.
The once of sport,
Too many do they cherish.
and all who love.
to abuse it shall perish.
Tonight, yes, already tomorrow.
These girls like this and wait in sorrow. No one's lost one of the natures they cherish, and all who care to abuse it shall perish. Away, 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 tonight the traitor dies. Away, away, tonight, 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 the traitor dies.
Oh, this prepared. Your gallant crew will do. I Frederick in tears. It cannot be that I not cries. But the coming conflict.
No, Mabel, no. The terrible disclosure has just been made. Mabel, my dearly loved one, I bound myself to serve the pirate captain until I reached my 21st birthday.
But you are 21.
I've just discovered that I was born in leap year, and that birthday will not be reached by me till 1940.
Oh, horrible catastrophe appalling.
And so farewell.
Oh, for
1940 I of age shall be. I'll then return and claim you, I declare it.
It seems so long.
Swear that till then you will be true to me.
Yes, be strong. I'll stand thee steady gone. I swear it.
It is love, it is true, it is good for joyous love, that she will be faithful to us all.
Till we are wed and even after.
Oh, it is love and it is true,
You will not be strong.
she will be faithful to
You
us
will be faithful to us.
till we are wed and even
Till
after.
we are wed.
And even after.
Yes, even after.
It is love and it is true, and it is good for joyous love now. She will be faithful to us all.
Till we are wed and even after.
She will be faithful to us all till we are wed and even after. Oh, it is love and it is true. Oh, it is love. It is
No, I am brave. Oh, family descent, how great thy charms, thy sway how excellent. Come one and all, undaunted men, go. A crisis now, affairs are coming to.
Soul and body and in mind,
Ta-dum, 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 ta-dum.
be not timidly inclined,
Ta-dum, ta-dum.
and anything but blind
Ta-dum, 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 ta-dum.
to the danger that's behind.
Ta-dum, ta-dum.
Yet when the danger's near,
Ta-dum, 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 ta-dum.
he managed to appear
Ta-dum, ta-dum.
as insensible to fear as anybody here, as anybody here.
Ta-dum, 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 Sergeants, approach! Sorry. Young Frederick was to have led you to death and glory.
That is not a pleasant way of putting it.
No matter. Will not so leave him when he has allied himself once more with his old associates.
He has acted shamefully.
You speak falsely. You know nothing about it. He has acted nobly.
He has acted nobly.
Dearly as I loved him before, his heroic sacrifice to his sense of duty has endeared him to me tenfold. But if it was his duty to constitute himself my foe, it is likewise my duty to regard him in that light. He has done his duty. I will do mine. Go ye and do yours.
Right. Oh. This is perplexing.
I cannot understand it at all.
Still, as he is actuated by a sense of duty,
That makes a difference, of course. At the same time, I repeat, I cannot understand it at all.
our course is clear. We must try to capture these pirates alone. It is most distressing to be the agents whereby our erring fellow creatures are deprived of that liberty which is so dear to us all. What we should have thought of that before we joined the force. It is too late now.
When a ferret's not engaged in his employment,
general standing story.
They seek a penalty.
54, we seek a penalty.
54, they seek a penalty. 54 for general standing story.
They come in force with stealthy stride. Our obvious course is now to hide. We got my tread upon a baby steel.
Inside we spread, the voices very still.
No sound at all, we never speak a word. Our flies would be distinctly heard. So stealthily the pirate crews follow the house and sounds. Comrades who know the sea, cruise to navigation, take another station. Let's fly by the sea, with the little burglary. Comrades who know the sea, cruise to navigation, take another station. Let's fly by the sea, with the little burglary.
Is your crowbar and your sentiment? Your life is you may want to reach. Your silent mountains, your dark lantern seas. Take your foot, you standing between these.
That's like tread upon a famous hill. Silence tread, the voices when we feel. No sound at all, we never speak a word. The flies that fall be distinctly heard. Comrades who come the sea, trust to navigation, take another station. Let's ferry by the sea, in the little white bird, not a word, I see a light inside. The Major General comes, so quickly hide.
Yes, yes, the Major General comes.
Yes, yes, the Major General comes. Tormented with the anguish dread of falsehoods unatoned, I lay upon my sleepless bed and tossed and turned and groaned. A man who finds his conscience ache, no peace at all enjoy. And as I lay in bed awake, I thought I heard a noise. He thought he heard a voice. No, all is still in dale on hill. My mind is set at ease. So still the scene, it must have been the sighing of the Sighing softly to the
for death prepare, unhappy General Stanley.
Is he to die a criminal death? Will no one his cause aware what feels death?
Yes, we are here, no hither to conceal. So to constabulary pirates yield.
Your brief advantage you contrived.
But you are not liar, will not be bonfire.
Don't say you're orphans, we know that game.
On your allegiance we've a stronger claim.
We charge you yield. We charge you yield. In Queen Victoria's name.
You too.
We
do. We charge you yield. In Queen Victoria's name.
We yield at once with heart free, because with all our faults we love our queen.
Yes, yes, with all their faults they love their queen. Yes, yes, with all their faults we love their queen. Away with them and place them at the bar.
One moment. Let me tell you who they are. They are no members of the common throng. They are born noblemen who have gone wrong.
Okay, no, that's enough.
They are born noblemen who have gone wrong.
No Englishmen are moved, that statement hears, because with all our faults we love our